In this video, I want to talk about making your own custom background. Now, you're probably familiar by now that when you make your PowerPoints, you can actually choose among various themes that will put a background for you, like this purple background or blue background or kind of a wood colored background, etc. But there's often cases where you don't want that. Let's just make a new slide here. And as we said before, if I want to change just this one slide, so maybe I want to keep that for my title slide, but I don't want this background for this one. So I'm going to right click and make this just blank, just this selected slide. Okay, so that one's white. And now I'm ready to make a custom background. So in this design tab here with all your different themes, you can actually go here and customize and make the background yourself. Okay, when you make a background, there's various types of backgrounds. For example, solid fill. So I can make just simply a yellow background, something like that. Choose any color you want. You can change the transparency to make it kind of a little bit see-through, I guess you would call it. Apart from solid colors, you can make what's called a gradient. Okay, a gradient is when a color changes from one color to other ones. In this case, we can see this light white color to a darker blue. So if you want to change the gradient, you can change these different points to whatever color you want. So this first color, for example, if I want a very light yellow, and then later on I want to change it to a slightly darker yellow, and then the third point an even darker yellow, and the very last point here, let's make it very, very dark. And then you can move these around to kind of change where the color actually changes. So let's say I want to change the yellow very early, so I can drag that over here. You can see that the yellow changes quite early, or I can drag it over and make the white part last for longer. So that's a gradient. There's various options as well. If you don't want it to go from top to bottom, you can make the gradient go from left to right, etc. Okay. The third one is textures or pictures. So texture, you can see here is a kind of a cloth-looking texture. I suppose there's various ones you can choose from: marble-looking, granite, that sort of thing. But probably more interesting than this is to actually insert a picture from a file or online. So I'm going to go online here and just using Google, I'm going to search for an image that I want to use for a background. Okay, so I've just searched for images of beaches, which I'm going to insert into my background. Now, a very important thing when choosing an image is to know the size of the image. You can see here these numbers here, 1500 by 715. Now, this is what we call resolution. And the higher the resolution, the higher the quality of your picture. Why is that important? Because if you have a low quality picture and you insert it in a background, you could get kind of a blurry picture, and it's not very nice to see. So here, as you can see, this is what I would call a low resolution picture. As a general rule, I would say in today's standards, I would say don't go for anything less than 1000 for that first number as a background image. Okay, this is probably going to change in a few years, but for now I would say general rule 1000 at least. So something like this, or even better, let's go for something like this. Okay, when you choose your picture, open it up, and from here you can save it. If you right click, you can see you can save image as. An important thing to notice is don't save this image. What's going to happen if you save this image is it's going to save an image that's exactly this big, which is really small. This right here, about this big. Okay, so first thing, open it up and save this one. This will give you the full size image. Okay, so save image as, and I'm just going to save it to the desktop, something easy. Sunlit beach is fine. Okay, save. Okay, so let's insert my picture then as a background. So back here, we're formatting the background. As you can see, I still have the texture here. Let's go and insert a file. And let's find my desktop. And the picture I saved was here. Insert. And as you can see, this image gets inserted in the background. In which case, I can start typing my slides, right? Come visit this beach. Okay. I'm just going to get rid of this one text box here because I don't need it. I just want to tell you something about being careful with your background images. Now, when you choose a background image, you have to be careful of this, okay? Visibility of your font. So when you do choose a background, make sure there is some place that has a solid color where you can see your font. So here's a good place in the sky here that I can write something. Here also the beach might be a nice place, okay? If you have an image that's, you know, completely full of trees and a bunch of things, that's what we call a busy background, and busy backgrounds are very difficult to work with. So that's one way to insert a background. Notice that this background, I can't actually move it around. It's not actually an object like this. This is an object that I can move around. This serves as a background itself. Let me show you another way to make a background. So I'll just make a new slide here. And now I'm going to get rid of everything. I can delete them, or like we said, we can change the layout to a completely blank slide. Okay, so I have a blank slide, and now I'm just going to actually insert my picture. So again, from my desktop, insert, and as you can see, it inserts it here, and in this case, I can actually move this image around. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make this image the exact size, or even bigger than my slide. Okay, and as you can see, they look very similar. This acts as a background, that acts as a background. The difference being this is actually a picture that I can move around. Okay, and if I want to add some text, I can insert. And we talked about inserting shapes, pictures. Another thing you can insert is a text box. Okay, so I can insert a text box here. Come visit us. Okay, and you can do your usual thing of changing the font, etc. Okay, be careful of busy backgrounds. You may try to do things like changing the font color. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, here it works nicely. Here in the clouds it might not. Beach, no. Okay. And that's inserting backgrounds.